Again with Sunday Chronicles. This is episode 7, so we're going at it again. This time, as you probably have seen, it's entitled My Precious, the Worship of the Material World. This is something that Chris and I have talked quite a bit about. We're just going to talk about want, desire, attachment, a bunch of different items. So we'll just see where this goes, and I'll let Chris start.
Cool. Let's see. First, I think we should
First, you should get in the camera.
we should discuss that it's okay to have things here, but it's not okay to be attached. The reason we called it My Precious is for the character Gollum.
Such a great metaphor,
Yeah.
or it's so perfect
He,
for this world.
Go back and watch Lord of the Rings after you listen to this, but Gollum, to me, is a representation of a good chunk of the world. Purposeless life, solely going after and worshiping the almighty dollar. And
We'll do, just as Gollum will do anything, it's his precious. You're going to hear us refer to that a lot. He cannot let go. He's so attached to this material object.
yeah, was a beautiful hobbit hippie.
Yeah, before he
found
turned.
it. Yeah.
And that's very symbolic. So we're going to kind of talk about that and just, again, see where it goes.
You may know a bunch of Gollums. You may be a Gollum yourself. And it's real easy. I've always started with indoctrination, and I'll go back to that again because it's just what it is. That indoctrination into go get it at no cost.
So lose yourself, get the perfect job, make as much money as you can, beat everyone in sports, be the best, you're the best.
Compete.
Yeah, it does really start there.
If you are on that selfish path, it's attainable. We've got examples all over the world. I hate to keep bringing it up, but Washington, D.C. is a prime example. Daddy gives you $200 million. You've never had to earn it. You've never had to sweat for it. You've never had to fail. And then when you do fail, you continue to get bailed out and get bailed out and get bailed out. It's easy to be indoctrinated into that at a real early age. I've seen high school parking lots that look like the Dallas Cowboy locker room parking lots. And none of those kids can afford Range Rovers. None of those kids can afford brand new Benzes.
And it's not even as much as what they're brought into. I think more focused on once you're in it, just being aware of that you are only striving for material possessions.
Yeah, and what happens is it's tough to get out of. It's why should you? It's that type of thing, and it's taught at a real early age, especially these days.
Oh yeah, I that made me think actually. I mean, to talk about kids, just you see, I've personally seen it firsthand. 7-year-olds paying with Frappuccinos with $100 bills, carrying Louis Vuitton. That is indoctrination.
Yeah.
And I'm not just making generalizations. I am just saying from experience what I've seen. You've seen parking lots full of, like you said, Range Rovers.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you look around, really observe, being aware. We've talked about that before. Start observing.
Observe yourself first.
Yeah, that's step one. Observe yourself and really see, are you want and desire? Like, only desiring, or are you only going after what you need to feed your soul, not your ego?
And what's taught is going to feeding your soul. What's taught is if you go out and you get these things, that emptiness that you feel, that's going, but when you get it, you're still miserable. You're actually more miserable because now that you have it, it's not, you're like, okay, well, I have it now, so why am I still unhappy? And what that goes towards is this. It goes back to purpose. If again, and this is what I started with, it's okay to have things. It's okay to have those Ferraris, have those things. If you desire, if that fits your purpose, cool. Your purpose is going to be divinely guided. Your selfishness, or that worshiping of the material world, you're on your own. And through both of those you can attain. There are plenty of billionaires out there, from Oprah Winfrey to Richard Branson to Mark Cuban to Prince to David Bowie to Michael Jordan. Those people were full of purpose. They followed their purpose, and they ended up with $1 billion, and they well deserved $1 billion. And then you have specific people in this world who were handed $200 million out of the gate, and
they were indoctrinated themselves. They never probably have stopped to think, is this really what I want to do? It's all about power, money, status,
more,
material,
more.
My precious. Yeah. The thought of losing, and again, think of yourself, and it's okay. A lot of our talks, the whole goal is for you to stop and learn to look within yourself, because that's where it all starts. Mm-hmm. Everything will always come back to self. Yeah. Knowing yourself. Know thyself. We're going to talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
But just think, are all these items, is that all I'm going for? Is the whole purpose of me doing what I'm doing, is it to get more stuff?
Or is your purpose benefiting humanity in some way? I see companies out there from organic tea companies to, what are some of the companies that we really dig? These companies.
Soulflower, like clothing companies.
Yeah.
There's that Zoom, so Indigo Wild.
Indigo Wild.
I mean, there's so many now. Conscious companies.
Conscious companies that are actually following their heart and giving back to humanity a product or a service or something that is actually going to benefit in the long run, not only humanity but themselves. And what I like to say is that there's a reciprocal thank you when you follow your purpose. There's you're being divinely guided. You're listening. Every day is a new day. You be the best you can be that day. You go at it. You make videos in your living room.
Do what we can.
Yeah. And doing what you can with what you have and being grateful for that. Eventually that's going to build and build and build. And by the way, thank you to all 300 people who watched episode 6. We were stoked about that. It's been 3 days and 300 people have watched it. If you haven't seen any of our stuff, go to Sun, Mind, and Body here on Facebook. Episodes 1 through 6. We'll also have episode 7 up. And if you like it, share it. That's how we grow, with word of mouth. But anyways, thank you to everybody for paying attention to our purpose. And so going to the selfish, selfless, that money can be attained, both sides. Will it last on this other side? It depends. Will you be happy on this other side? No, because you're not doing anything to fulfill that emptiness here. Going the other route and finding your purpose. Your purpose may be $1 million company. It may be a $100,000 company. It may be a $1 billion company or idea. It's just dependent upon how hard you want to work. You'll be given everything that you need and more. If you should so desire to go out and, how big do you want to take that message?
I think something that would be interesting to talk about is that whole thing. If you notice again, the Gollum character, yes, love Lord of the Rings. We talked about that earlier. When it's my precious and you're only going after the material, I know, it's not necessarily, you don't know, it's not your soul going after this. Look at how he physically transformed. It literally, that going after money so much.
The inner reflects the outer.
Yeah, and you're empty, like Chris just said. Your heart, you are trying to fill the heart with money. You've heard stuff like that. Fill that empty hole with money. Mm-hmm. That's not going to fulfill what you're looking for. And if you're following your purpose and doing things to help benefit humanity, you will always be taken care of. It may not feel like it at times, but when you stop and look, you'll always have everything you need.
Especially in the beginning. It's tough in the beginning. You know, you go through a lot. You learn about yourself. You learn to be grateful with nothing. That's a, you know, that's a quality sign of a bad motherfucker, to be grateful with nothing, to be a man of the world but not in the world. That is, and you can see it, and you can see it in people who I've named earlier. They're, through music, through movies, through an airline, through entertainment and sports, they're in some way benefiting humanity and following their purpose. And you can always see somebody who's following their purpose, and then you can.
And they'll continue to be successful.
Sure.
Those are the people you remember.
Yeah,
those
are
that have passed, you remember because, but they never stuck out. They never were the main people in society because they had a ton of money, but they were just fulfilling their purpose, helping people, and you never knew about it. Like Prince, for example.
I think the word is floss that you're looking for. People without purpose, they like to show that shit off. And I've known cats who've had Range Rovers and Corvettes and all this, and 850 BMWs and E350s who couldn't afford to put gas in them. But they had them, and they were flossing. And
that
so
comes
that's,
down,
that's on this level. And then you see it in the entertainment business as well. But things are shifting, is what I want to say. That old style of, and it's been around, I want to bring this up, it's called Mammon, Mammon, and that's in the New Testament of the Bible, if you read the Bible. It's worship of the material world, and this shit has been around forever. Like I said in our last episode, you find it all tied in together now. And with that, again, I'm going to bring up prosperity gospel because it's a knife in the side of the truth, and people are all about it. Look around, and you know, it's.
I like that quote you posted about being blessed.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider yourself blessed because of material things, you have no idea what a blessing is. And that's the quote she was referring to. And I always like to prep with a quote, whether it be one of ours or somebody that we respect, to go into these things. You can see it. Start observing your friends and
yourself, of course.
Yeah,
first. Always
so observe yourself without judgment. Just understand that they don't know. You know, they haven't been open. They haven't had their mind opened to what we're actually talking about.
And like we said, you yourself right now, it's all about self-work. So right now, you may be chasing money or chasing material things and never really stop to think about it. So, and it's a hard thing to. Having no attachment to the material world is a very hard thing to do. It takes a lot of work, but then you are able to find true happiness, and you're able to find what really matters.
And we're not saying go out and quit your job. That is not.
In this world, unfortunately, right now we need money to survive.
But whilst you're doing that job, you can also do your purpose. You can also start kind of digging, okay,
helping others.
What is that? What is my purpose? Why do they always talk about purpose? Every one of us have one. And if you don't perform your purpose on this planet, it'll never get done.
Think about, I'm stealing something from Chris here. Think about this. Do the planets, does the sun, this is something that Chris has told me before, and you can always interrupt if I'm doing it wrong, but
sure.
Does the sun, planets, are they fulfilling their purpose, or are they just doing whatever the hell they want out there?
Yeah, look into the solar system and look at just our specific...
if they weren't all doing their purpose, we'd be blown up by now.
Yeah.
Or we wouldn't be here. We'd be frozen or whatever.
What if the sun decided not to come up?
The sun didn't decide to fulfill its purpose. We wouldn't be here.
Yeah, what if it was like,
so show some respect to the universe and find your purpose, and it's where your true happiness is.
It goes into what the creation of the universe. In the beginning, shit was crazy. And then all of a sudden, everything started to slow down. Everything realized it had to work together. And then it became into harmony. And that is an example for us as humanity. Right now, you'll see a bunch of freestyling, selfish fucks out there who are running the country. They're at the top of the game. But what you're going to start to see as we continue to push on in this world from today forward is you're going to start to see things happen.
And it's already started.
Yeah, it's already started.
So people are speaking up. The good is prevailing a little bit more, at least being seen. It's always been there. But I think just really want to get back to understanding attachment to these material things.
Sure.
And
if they define you, if what you have defines you, there's nothing here.
And you'll forever be chasing that to fill that emptiness.
Yeah, it's like they say about heroin, you're chasing the dragon. You're never going to catch it. And having that purpose and having that that daily struggle to get your idea out there, you're going to have to first of all start against the world. And I dare everyone to go against the world tomorrow. I dare you. And that your purpose is going to have to, it's going to be something that's going to be tough. And the universe, like I said before, if you take that selfish route, you're on your own. You're not going to have any universal backing. If you find your purpose and you say, okay, the universe is aware, everybody's aware, let's help this guy out. But first, how bad do you want it? And that how bad do you want it? It could take a year, it could take a couple of years. You're going to fail. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail again and again and again, and you'll be put into situations to see how tough you are and to see whether or not you're going to fall off. At the end of those, you're going to become such a strong individual. You have failed and ego deathed so many times but you're still pushing. You're still going to push forward. You know, a lot of you out there know my story. And I'm not going to get into it now, but a lot of you do know. And yeah, I failed, and in front of everybody. But I knew that was my purpose. They didn't necessarily know, so it's forgiven. But I'm going to continue, and Son is going to be a big brand. I'll tell everybody that right now. It's going to be whatever I decide it's going to be. But we have a lot of things that we're not just Sun Fitness. We've got a lot of things that we're working on privately that we'll come out with when they're ready. But
and I think a big thing that Chris mentioned is, I truly believe, my heart tells me that if everyone were to follow their purpose, their true purpose, because you could be making a bunch of money, that's awesome, like good, but if you're attached to that, like we said, but if you're fulfilling your purpose, I believe that almost everyone's true purpose, their divine purpose, is to do something that's going to help humanity as a whole. This collective consciousness we talked about the other day, that's what your true purpose is. It's something to help, either whether it be an invention, whether it be something to help the planet, help animals, help humans, help whatever, So it's just something really interesting to think about. Obviously, it should nourish your soul, what your purpose is, but at the same time, it's more than likely, I bet, it is going to help other people. You just following your heart and fulfilling your purpose is an inspiration to others. So that right there, you've already done something positive to help that.
And tomorrow, your purpose may be, as you're starting to ask and seek. If you want to know your purpose, ask. Still in meditation, and ask, what is my purpose? And if you look back on your life, you'll have had instances in passions, starting at a real early age, that
they'll come back.
Yeah, that you've quelled because you've gone that selfish route,
or you've been society or someone made you feel stupid about what
mom
you
and
dad,
to do.
Or whoever.
That's a big one. A lot of people like to impress their parents, especially if they're rich, because they know when they go, they're going to get that money. And that is that endless cycle of, of pressing pause on your individual growth, and just becoming another person, another selfish person that the world has to deal with. And
it's just, this whole thing is something really interesting to observe. Just start looking around,
yeah.
and again, at yourself, but
Yeah.
at others, and really see what.
And if you find yourself, forgive thyself. That's a number one thing. You don't know, and like I said before, if you find someone that's unaware of consciousness or unaware of what we talk about, and you all of a sudden start to see yourself growing and knowing more about yourself, just because someone else isn't aware.
That's where compassion comes in.
Sure, but and what's going to happen on the way up is this: you're going to lose a lot of motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. People are going to start falling off left and right.
Yeah.
Because either they worship material things, they don't understand. They think you're a weirdo or whatever it may be.
Think you're a weirdo is the very first one.
The best.
Yeah,
that's a really good sign.
Because what's going to happen is they're all going to fall off, and you're going to have some people clamp on. For selfish reasons, yeah. And you got to cut that off, and you're going to be able to count on these hands at the end of the process, the ones that actually were there for you.
Not just because of your status or because you bought them drinks at a bar or whatever it may be.
These are real homies, and I'm talking family. You're going to have to let go of a lot of family, a lot of friends, and you see, it's not just us saying this, whether it be personal experience or reading of people that we look up to or people that we kind of, that have guided us through things, because you'll see it. You can see quotes all about people like Sting, who had to talk about his family, like he had to let them go, for example. So it's out there. It's something everyone truly, to find your purpose, find yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to go through a painful process. It's, as a friend once told me, it's not always rainbows and unicorns. She was very right. It's a tough process. But we are surrounded by worship of the material. It's all about the best clothes, the biggest houses, the best cars. Go to any suburb of Dallas.
Yeah.
and
not
I'm
everyone.
Well, not everyone, but it dependent upon whatever. They're all cookie cutter McMansions. They're everybody. No one talks to one another. And
again, we're not faulting anyone. This is an observation.
This is my own personal observation and my personal opinion. And everyone's in competition, and it's like no one has a purpose. Everybody's got that job. Well, I make $100,000 a year. I make $150,000 a year, but I spend $300,000 a year.
And the feeling, competition. I know we're kind of talked a little bit about that, but once you let go of competition, because it's something that's heavily indoctrinated in the society, whether it be from your family or just society in general, school, all that, it is such a feeling of freedom. It's silly, really, when you stop and think about it. It's
competition.
There's really no point.
Individuals have no competition.
Yeah, you're unique.
Yeah, there's not another me right now.
Not another me.
Trying to that I have to compete against.
Yeah, do you be yourself?
Yeah, this is my vision.
And what we're talking about, that feeling, that realization, is all because of letting go and not having attachment to the material world. That's a huge step in the process of figuring out who you are and what this world's about and why you're here.
Einstein says, be a man of value, not a man of wealth. And if you want to think about that one real quick, he was Einstein for a reason. And all of the cats that we study and we've learned so much from, it's the only way to roll. You want to be a man of wealth? There are plenty of examples out there of men of wealth with no... And you see where that goes. You see where that leads. I know a bunch of dudes that walk around with their chest bowed up right now. And you're on your own, kid. And it's that selfless route is a rough route, and if you want to stick with it, and you say, "Fuck you, Chris, you're full of shit," go right ahead.
That's your free will.
Yeah,
Everyone has free will.
I welcome that. I welcome. Sometimes you need your ass kicked, and you hear that all the time. Sometimes you need your ass kicked, and maybe not once, 2, 3 times. And what you're going to realize is that you're going to keep slamming your head against the wall over and over again. And one day you're going to wake up and realize that you are the wall.
Mm-hmm. That's huge. That's so...
It's
important to realize that.
And if you're on that route and you want to stay there, stay there. And it'll eventually make sense to you. But if you are miserable and you got game right now, you got money, you got all those things, hold on to it real quick, find your purpose, and start shoving a little bit of that money towards that. Mm-hmm. And then keep your day job up until the purpose starts making enough money to sustain you, and then full-time purpose at that point. The universe will be working with you the entire time. Whatever you need to learn first, and whatever you need to survive.
Yeah, imagine the feeling of being able to do your purpose every day. We'll talk about meditation probably in one of our talks a little bit more, but that's something, before you go to sleep, just kind of close your eyes and think about what is my purpose, what is calling to me. Maybe it was something when you were little, like we talked about, something that you kind of strayed away from, and just really think what that would be like. Envision that happening, and really think about where you are in your life right now, and is everything that you're doing for want and desire. Because when you want and desire something, it hurts. I've had to keep myself in check before, as I'm sure many people have. You're like, why do I feel blah today? Well, I'm wanting something. It's jealousy, desire. It's all these icky feelings. That's what having attachment causes. That's what this desire to go after money only with no purpose or soul behind it.
Yeah,
that's what happens. It
both
feels
of them,
bad.
Yeah,
it feels bad.
Both of them are hurt. The purpose side, to reach the level, what you want with your purpose is there. And not everybody's going to want to be a rock star. Not everybody wants $1 million. Not everybody. That's not for everybody. There's a select few that will go that route, and it's a tough route.
And we're talking about, that's a great point, because I just thought, some people may seriously just want to serve breakfast at a cafe.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do, awesome. But I guarantee you that person has found another purpose. Maybe it's something with their kids, or something they do on the side. It's okay. We're not just talking about big money here.
Yeah.
It's just a great example of the world today.
Yeah.
And how literally start looking at the golems in this world. You can see them transforming. I mean, they're aging poorly, etc., or whatever it may be.
Sure.
It's just fascinating. So.
It goes to energy again, as you're trying to vibrate up, and they've pressed pause on their expanding their own consciousness. Your energy is going to get so high that there's no longer and it's not because you're better, it's just because you don't have anything to do with that anymore. Learn what you got to learn and move on.
Attachment causes stress. It weighs you down emotionally and physically. Attachment to these things is what causes you can look at someone and see the pain from their inside show. And the more you start being aware, again, not only of yourself but of others, you're going to start noticing that. You're going to start seeing people for who they really are, what their heart is truly following.
Yeah, and it's very prevalent within our culture to worship the material.
And it's been around forever, like Chris said. I mean, you go back, start doing research.
Please, again, just like we did with the last segment, is do your own research.
Don't believe anything we say.
Yeah, answer your own questions, and if you choose to stay on that path, then cool.
Yeah, free will.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Just, step aside as things start to move forward. As things start to move forward, you're going to notice the shift.
We're talking a universal shift here of the world's changing.
Yeah, the old way is gone, and it's going to become more and more apparent as things start to. There's a lot. There's a lot of things that are being pushed to the surface right now, and
things are being disclosed, and they continually will.
And you're going to see it, and it's just the ethical. How did you get that money? How did you how many people had to suffer because of you?
All the crimes against humanity and all that are going to start to come out. So those who are aware of that, it's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, hang in there. It's been tough, but hang in there.
But as we continue to move forward, just number one thing today is observe yourself. Are you on that selfish path? If you are alone. It's attainable. You can have all the success you want, and then start defining success.
Yeah, what is truly success? Is it
Is
what
it
type
inner
of car you
peace?
have?
It's either inner peace or
Material.
and that's success.
So choose which one you want and
Yeah.
what's more important. We
And-
made our choice.
Sure.
Just as some people have already completely made their choice, they're never flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Vice versa.
And I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of your friends are the people you're trying to impress are going to hold on. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there holding on right now, and you'll see them. They'll hold on to the very end. As things start to fall off, they're still going to hold on. Well, one of my favorite quotes by Buddha is, "Let go or be dragged." Mm-hmm. And you're going to see a lot of people out there get dragged over the next couple of years because they won't let go. If you are in a situation to where you're wanting to let go, I suggest you start to let go.
And like we said, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But no, you're not alone in this process. It's truly the process of life.
Yeah.
Is this process of being thrown in this mess we call Earth. I don't necessarily want to say mess, but it's crazy.
It has to be.
It's the way it is.
Yeah.
And then being forced to let go sometimes. Other times having to find that on your own and deal with that. And it's tough, but once you start emerging on the other side, it's a completely different world. Everything changes.
Yeah. And let go to get new.
Yes.
Always remember that. If you're unhappy, first of all, you're causing it.
We each cause
allowing it.
our own suffering.
Yeah.
Just always remember that, no matter what.
If you're unhappy, you're causing it because you're allowing it to happen. Either you're allowing an individual to be in your life that's making you miserable, you're desiring and wanting and going that route of selfishness to fulfill yourself with money and things so you can floss, or you're on that purpose route, you're maintaining your job, you're doing your best you can there, things start to build up on the purpose side. Job, you're completely grateful for it, even though it sucks, you have to get up and go there every day. Eventually that purpose is going to become your life. And they say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Everybody's heard that. And that's what that means.
So, yeah, like you're saying, let go or be dragged. Attachment. Try to
observe yourself.
And try to become unattached to these material things in your life. Just start small. Just start noticing.
Sure.
See how you feel about when you see someone else with something nice. Is it bothering you?
And don't hate.
Things like that.
And that's another thing. If you're hating on people, what you're giving out to the universe is okay, I'm hating on them, then you're never ever going to get it. And if you're on your purpose track, you won't have time to hate. All you know, hey, good for you, good for you, good for you, good for you. I'm on my purpose, I'm on my game, I'm going to push until it breaks. And people think that, well, once I make it, you're never going to make it. The end result to life is death of the physical. Soul's the eternal. We'll get into that at a later episode. So remember, slow down, find your purpose, make it happen, work with what you have, Be grateful for what you have.
No matter what. Anytime
Yeah.
you feel yourself get a little upset about anything, if it's because of something material, because of jealousy, because of whatever, go back within, you know,
Find something to be grateful for.
and find something to be grateful for. Thank you. I was like, what was I talking about?
Yeah. But
yeah, find something to be grateful for, and that will instantly bring you to the moment, and it'll just get rid of all that icky feeling of whatever.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, life's cool. I'm so grateful for this.
yeah.
So that's a huge thing to take away from today's talk, hopefully.
But find your purpose, kids. It makes
fun.
life a lot easier. Observe yourself, see which route you're on, and I think that's it for today. We wanted to kind of have episode 7 tie into 6, and then we'll go from there. But thank you
Thank you, guys.
for watching, and we will see you soon.